Good afternoon. My name is Melba.G. I currently live in Espinal, Tolima, and I student in the licenciatura en lengua extranjera con énfasis en inglés. This is my presentations. The articles. The first article is the 12. This article talking about the teaching experience will not be taken into account for the practice. I consider that is appropriate because all students have the same conditions, and besides, they have the opportunity to perfectly work their work. In Article 13, the activities will be developing in the practice scenarios defined by the pedagogical practice teams. In these articles, I don't agree. From my experience, the university is later, and besides, they don't have different scenarios or quality far from the place where the students live. For that reasons, it's more difficult waiting for the university to assign the place of practice. And it's better that the students find the place of practices in coordination with the university. This is my opinion. In the other articles, principle of actions of the pedagogical practice. These principles are important in all life areas and in any scenarios. Is one of the qualities of to be self-aware and to have standards in the teaching process and to have respect for these professions. The 18 articles talking about the evaluations of learning. I agree, but it's all important to meet the needs of the students and offers assistance and understand some conditions. Not always a grade means the real knowledge. The other articles, evaluations of the pedagogical and educational practice. I agree, but excuse me. The schedules and criteria are useful, but I don't agree why so many forms. In each practice, the students must fill out about 6 forms, and sometimes they are the same concepts. It is confusing, but to write about in each document. And the 20 articles talking about grounds for failures of the course of the educational pedagogical practice. In some events, it is not the student's fault they complete with the punctuality or the schedule for the practice, but it's also the fault of the directives of the practice place. In the other articles 21, talking about duties of training teachers. These differs are significant. In any way, each practice are a moment for both sides to learn. All they have the opportunity. In the 24 articles, rise or training teachers. These duties are significant, and besides the fact that each practice is a moment to learn more, it's also an opportunity to strengthen teaching skill and understand the true purpose of these professions. So it is important that the students we know and following these parameters, which are simple rules of a good conduct. Finally, the Articles 23 is the practice scenarios must complete with the norms in force. I am not opposed to anything because this is our first job, and we must require a quality in education starting with the educations institutional. We should have to have the basic facilities and conditions for the students to have an enjoyable formation process. This is my condition in front to the different articles, the documents to regulation these documents. In the other point is to talking about my plans for I completing the regulations of pedagogical practice documents. My plan is as following. I will take a note. This is my 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 notebooks. In these notebooks, I recording tasks to be done in each period or phase. I have a schedule from 7 or 10 p.m. When I return my home. This is my schedule approximately. And I'm very punctual with the administrative acts. For this reason, I do not have any inconvenience. And I send the links to my cell phone, and some moments I do reading in the forum. In the first moments, I send in the forums my contacts, and for the others company classmates returning me contacts. I for read the documents the bibliothèque. I send the links in my telephone, my cell phones. For the anything moments, I do the readings these documents. In the other hands, I know that when I deciding to study in a distance, it is my responsibility to have the necessary conditions to access the tools that the university requires for my formation process. The PC, the cell phone, and the all time for any tools, the pedagogical strategy. My responsibility for in the group, I plan to accomplish the requirements of the regulation of pedagogical practice UNAT. In this document, my first responsibility in each step is to advance to the tasks that requiring my participations in the group, and to leave my dates in case the work is collaboration in the forum. This is my first task. Send my contacts in the forums, and I trying to contact the others classmates for in the forum. Also the forum. This is my first task. In the other hand, in the collaboration work, I propose that besides the participation in the forum, to create, I want to create in the group in WhatsApp for practicing with the goals of better contact and following up the group activities. This is the better group in the WhatsApp, because it's opportunity this in contact frequently. The activity guide gives the rulers and is through this document that the work is done and the information is consolidated for delivering on the days, especially according to the parameters and evaluation criteria. In this way, I try to complete with what is writing in the activity guide widths because by following the guidance, I'm completing with the rulers. If at any moment I find the complete with the sums of any activity or the participation in the forum, on the work collaborating work, I take a contact the tutor and I tell him about my case or my situations, and in the possible I send support for these situations. In the other point, I know that administrative acts are rulers and that they by must comply with for our own good and the common good in scenarios or group. So I agree with this terminus and I will do my best to complete it with tens. This is my screen for my notebook when I write all course in the in each periods or topics, and I when I completing the task, then in the other periods I knew write all informations. This is my presentation and thanks.